When large projects run late, mostly project managers and product owners put it down to complexity. I've been studying project-based work now for 20 years and I have good news for you. It's really not about the degree of difficulty of the project, whether it gets delivered on time or not. 4 years ago we conducted some research. We looked at 55 different projects and we found that those that run big projects make the same mistakes over and over again. Currently, for example, we're working in the defence sector. Well, I can't say, but we're building big things. And those things take years to build. And guess what? It's the same 5 mistakes that make them run late. So to get projects delivered on time and on budget, you really need to just focus on 3 things. Number 1 is how to recognise these 5 mistakes. We call this knowing what to change. Then you need to know what to do instead. We use the words what to change to. And finally, how to cause the change. This video is all about number 1, what to change. The errors that are the main cause of projects running late. And these errors consume the capacity of a team, meaning that, based on our experience, nearly every project we've studied could have been delivered on time using less resource and less money. Meaning that the only way to deliver your project on time and on budget is to squeeze every drop of capacity you can from your team. So let's look at the big mistakes that consume that capacity. The first is that leaders believe that the faster we start projects, the faster we'll finish. Using this assumption, they put more and more work into the project pipeline. Why is this bad? Well, if you accept that to deliver a project on time, you must work on the right work at the right time. Like knowing that you did have that time to put up that set of shelves, but other choices seemed so much easier to do, so you did those instead. Same thing, too much WIP in the system means people work on wrong things out of sequence. Often they do the easy work first, and the hard stuff gets left until the end, and then the project runs late. The second problem is that leaders have too many priority rules. This means that in addition to choosing their own work and doing work out of sequence, teams now have lots of other priorities. And thus their choices are further exacerbated by being forced to continually change what they're working on. Now we have massive context switching and multitasking going on in the system. Do you see now that this is a policy issue, not a complexity one? The third problem is what happens when people get blocked. Most leaders don't see that when people do get blocked, that actually it's an issue. Think of it like this. Let's say that you've decided you are going to put up that shelf. You get halfway through and you ran out of materials. If you decide to put that work down and leave it for a week, then the whole project gets blocked. If you decide to get involved in something else, now again you're working out of sequence. Our research found that leaders can cost a project around 32% of its capacity, meaning working on the wrong things at the wrong time, by not unblocking. The fourth capacity stealer is, believe it or not, setting due dates. Yes, actually setting due dates. Creating a due date makes your project run late, not early. Well, why? You see, it creates 2 behavioural problems. The first is called student syndrome. You know how when you get asked to do that essay for uni and you thought I can leave it for a couple of weeks? Well, due dates do that. And then there's Parkinson's law, a similar thing, where work expands to fill the time you have to do that work. Either way, capacity again is lost. And the fifth problem is measurement. Measurement that fails to give sufficient information fast enough that the right recovery actions can be taken to get work back on track. Most project managers provide updates once per week or fortnight, and usually they ask about the percentage complete of the work. But this gives us 2 issues. The information is really opinion based, it's not based on data, and also, as I'm sure you know, you can be 90% complete and still have your project stuck like that for months. Think about all of these issues and they give you one big problem. Your teams are spending up to 50 to 60% of their time working on the wrong work at the wrong time. Is it any wonder that your projects are running late? You're losing so much capacity. But here's the really great news. All of this is a thinking issue. And that thinking leads to a system of processes and policies that actually make your project run late. Think of it like this: thinking, system, performance. Meaning, if you can change and you're willing simply to change the way that you think about how to design, execute and manage projects, you can get amazing performance. And that's what we're going to cover in tomorrow's video. How to think differently and what counterintuitive policies to put in place to get you incredible results without the need for extra spending, resource or capacity. I'll see you in the next video.